3, 2, 1. Let's go! Yes, I'm the host of the PBE podcast, Troy Tittlemeyer. We're sitting at the 2023 Southwest Section AAPG event, celebrating 100 years with the North Texas Geologic Society, 1923. That's after World War I, before the Great Depression, and World War II is the Roaring 20s. Kind of like what they say these 20s are. Is there a history repeating itself? Are we in the new Roaring 20s? I don't know. It's pretty exciting. It is pretty exciting around the energy world. I must admit. Please introduce yourself and a quick elevator pitch of what you do.
My name is Heather Anderson. I am a professional geologist, and I have my own consultancy.
Oh, nice.
I consult with oil and gas, green energy, minerals, and higher education clients, and do a little bit of, I do technical geoscience. I also do project management and strategic planning. And,
wow.
I actually also do a little bit of career coaching and seminars for students to help them get ready for that jump from being a student to a professional.
Man, that's so important. We always talk about it, but you're living it.
Trying to.
Right on. How does your background go? Where are you from?
Originally from Clyde, Texas.
Texas.
More cows than people.
Oh, no.
Small town outside of Abilene.
Oh, okay. Which way from Abilene?
East.
East of Abilene.
Right on I-20.
I drive through Clyde getting to Abilene.
Yes, you do.
I just missed it so many times.
You might blink.
Damn
Yeah. Windmills. There's a lot of starting to be a lot of windmills out there. Probably the first windmills you hit before you get to the big windmill farm out in Roscoe and that area.
Okay.
So,
wow. Right on.
Went to Texas Tech for my undergrad and master's.
Okay. Both in geology?
Both in geology.
Look at that. Red Raiders.
Yeah,
guns up. How does it go? Is it this one?
There you go.
Guns
up.
There
you go. Speaking of Red Raiders in 1923, it is the 100th anniversary of Texas Tech University this year as well. So,
wow.
A lot going on in the Red Raider world.
You got to take plenty of classes with Mr. Asquith over there.
I did.
I
did. George was on my committee.
Right on.
As a master's student. So, I really lucked out with
What'd
George.
you do your thesis on?
I did my thesis on hard rocks in Norway.
Nice. Right on. When you say hard rocks, are you talking about the serpentinites and talcs of Norway?
Granites.
Okay.
Granites. Yeah. So I got out of school. I was an intern in 2008. It was $140 barrel
Holy
oil,
smokes,
right?
That's right.
Got out of school in 2009, went and worked for ExxonMobil.
Wow.
So
how exciting.
But part of the reason why I tell that is that it was good back then, and companies were hiring like crazy.
Yeah.
Exxon hired like 120 new hires that year, but I feel like ever since that time, there's just been increased volatility.
Yeah.
And, it's a challenge to get into the job force these days, and the robust training courses and onboarding sessions that companies used to have gone by the wayside. So that's kind of where my support of higher ed has come from, and doing workshops with student groups and whatnot, because I just feel like if I can I have an appreciation for how lucky I had it. If I can kind of pay that forward, then I want to be able to do that. So
what a great experience you got to do. Like, you got to experience like that whole process at the height of kind of like how it's supposed to be. If you're really investing in that next generation, you're really investing in bringing in new hires and finding the next greats that are going to help carry that company for years and years to come. And then bang, the crash, and how challenging it is now for HR or whoever makes those decisions. Like, no, we still need to invest a lot of time and a lot of resources in these. And they're like, no, we can't. Like, we're not even giving like styrofoam cups anymore to the employees over here. You want to,
You have to continue that. You have to continue the operations, and you've got to, keep continuing to link that institutional knowledge to carry on business. And that's the kind of the groundwork to innovating and, new ways of doing things and new technology. And so, I think it's so important to try to support the next generation
Man.
and get people in when you can.
There's hiring booms and
sometimes.
hiring, flats and stuff, but
Yeah.
I like it. You have a really good like you have a good understanding of what that is. You went through it. I
Yeah.
mean, that's a pretty rare deal. It sounded like 120 new hires that year. That's a lot. It sounds like a lot to me because
It was a lot.
right
Yeah.
now, like it's maybe 10 or something.
Yeah, maybe. Right.
Wow.
Yeah, maybe.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was definitely an interesting time to join Houston. Lots of new people, fresh people in Houston.
Man.
And
what was your first job? Like, what did you do?
so I joined a Gulf of Mexico exploration group.
Nice.
I worked the shelf, which was kind of unusual for Exxon. While most of my peers worked deepwater Gulf of Mexico, but I was kind of looking at gap opportunities where we think there's opportunity around these salt flanks, but it doesn't really fit the Exxon, model of, it's got to be big to be economic for us. And so it's just kind of understanding what's out there, what could be out there.
Wow.
Could we make this work within our portfolio or not? So it was they literally called it a gap opportunity. So that was kind of interesting to work, but worked a lot of Gulf of Mexico. So then worked Gulf of Mexico deepwater production, worked in the swamps of Louisiana.
Jeez. And how long were you there?
So I was at Exxon for 10 years.
Okay.
I was at Exxon proper for 8. And then I did 2 years at XTO.
Oh, the unconventional arm.
Yeah, the unconventional.
Dang. So your last 2 years there, you came to the Permian?
Actually, my 2 areas that I worked were Eagleford and Barnett, actually.
Oh, whoa, right here.
Yeah, right here. Yeah.
Right on.
Yeah, so I drilled in Eagleford, and then in Barnett we were looking at refracts, actually.
Ooh.
So we didn't have a rig or anything, but we're looking.
You were doing
to exploit.
recompletions in the shales.
Yeah.
What's the big difference between an unconventional and a conventional?
Unconventionals, you're looking at the lateral, you're exploiting, very high, very low porosity rocks to exploit just the tiny little bit of oil and gas that's in there. Unconventionals, typically your source is essentially your reservoir, your trap, your seal, all contained in one interval. Whereas your conventionals, you've got to have all those different play elements. You've got to have source, you've got to have migration to a trap, you've got to have a seal, you've got to have migration pathways. So the conventional world, there's a few more things that need to kind of come together to be able to exploit the hydrocarbons.
Right.
So
for it to be successful and commercial.
Yeah.
And horizontals, it's like, it's there. We know we're going to get something from it. Is it going to be a little bit of gas and a little bit of oil, or is it going to be a lot of gas and a lot of oil? How's that going to go?
Yeah.
Interesting. What happened after XTO?
So after XTO, I did about 1.5 years at Colley Gillespie and Associates. So Colley Gillespie is like a Netherland and Sewell or a DeGoyer McNaughton. So reserves auditing firm. So kind of specialty. So when I was at ExxonMobil, I was actually in the global reserves group and did reserves reporting for Exxon. So I kind of had that skill set. So from XTO, XTO office in Fort Worth closed, and decided to stay in Fort Worth instead of going to Houston, back to Houston.
Didn't like the humidity, huh?
Yeah. It's hard to breathe sometimes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Hard to breathe.
Yeah, it is.
So left Exxon, went to Colley Gillespie. I was there for about 1.5 years, and then decided actually that I wanted to get my MBA. I was interested in the business. I've got some broad interests and wanted to do my own consulting. And so I had, consulted with them for about 1.5 years and left them, and then have done my own thing since then. And I have gotten my MBA at SMU since then as well.
Son of a gun. Wow. Yeah. So, very accomplished with your scholastic adventure.
Every day's a school day. That's a motto of mine.
Right?
You don't have to be in formal school. You can learn something,
You're
and you
learning
do learn something every day. So
I like that attitude.
So yeah.
And now what are you doing now?
So yeah, I consult. I work with higher education clients, minerals clients. I've done everything from symposium organizing to stewarding research projects to helping a hydrogen company get off the ground.
Whoa.
So a show database, a broad mix, if you will.
Wow.
So
What softwares do you typically use in your day-to-day on a project like what you're working on now?
Yeah, so Petra, of course, or
Okay.
Kingdom, ArcGIS. I've had an ARC license for quite some time, and then if a company has geographics or whatever, then I'll certainly use what they use. Yeah, exactly. Right. But if I'm writing a business plan or something like that, I don't need a geologic software per se. I just need the knowledge to translate the science into the business.
Using like spreadsheets? Or
Really fancy. Yeah, I mean, you got to collate all the data and kind of type it up, right? Just kind of suck it up and type it up. So,
right on. Well, when we were standing over there a minute ago, you talked about women in energy or something.
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah. So AAPG has a special interest group. That's the Women's Network. It used to be called Prowess. AAPG Prowess. Now it's just AAPG Women's Network.
Okay.
And so we have our executive committee at the greater, executive AAPG level, but then they've started having regional representation for the WIN group. And so
cool.
I am the Southwest section WIN rep. And I'm just here at the Southwest section meeting trying to make sure that everybody knows about this available resource. It is for men and women to support women and underrepresented groups within the geosciences and within AAPG. And it's free to join. If you are an AAPG member, you can get on our webpage and join in the special interest group.
Cool.
And we do webinars. We try to do those kind of quarterly-ish, I'll say. Those can be technical. Those can be professional development.
Right on.
A lot of different kind of topics that we try to hit on.
All around wind farms, windmills?
Women's networking.
Oh, I thought you were saying it was like wind energy.
Women's networking.
Wind.
WN.
Got it.
Yes.
That was going right over my head. I'm like, women in energy and specifically in wind, I guess. Now I got it.
DPA, Divisional of Professional Affairs, they might have some wind.
Right.
But women's networking. So anyways, we have different webinar events. We have different networking opportunities and short courses and whatnot at like the Image, and used to be the annual conference for AAPG.
Right.
And
it
some
used to
of
be
that.
called ACE.
Yeah.
Now it's Image.
Yeah, ACE and ICE, all of that, right?
Right. Yeah. Now
Back
it's
in the
Image.
day, so
now it's Image. Okay. So
we also, just a plug, we also have a women's networking mentorship program. And so people can join. They can be a mentee or a mentor.
Nice.
And you could even be both if you wanted to, be a mentee and a mentor. But it's great for students. It's great for young professionals. Again, you don't have to be a woman to participate.
Yeah.
And we are in our 2023 cycle right now. And so coming up this summer, we'll be just sending out some information about the 2024 cycle. It'll start off in the fall, and we've got a kind of a registration system. I don't want to call it an application system because you don't have to apply per se.
Okay.
But a registration system, and you can get registered and you can share about, hey, I want to be a mentor and this is how I could potentially help, or hey, I'd like to be a mentee and this is how, these are some of the things that I would like to get some help with. And we try our very best to be intentional in our matches and just help promote success in the geosciences.
Right on. That's cool.
So,
Women's Network. Women's Network.
Not to be confused with Wind
Network, right. So these students and young professionals can reach out and become part of this group that has folks like you with this kind of experience and this specific network that you have, and then you guys all get like messages from them. You're constantly getting information from them?
We have a program that we use, Chronos program, that will, facilitate the technological pairing of you and your mentor. You've got
Son of a
messaging in
gun.
that. You can set up meetings. It's not required, right? You don't have to use that system.
Yeah.
You can just, organically set up meetings with your mentee or mentor and help in whatever way you can. I am paired with a student in Malaysia right now in Kuala Lumpur, which is challenging. I'm going to be totally straightforward. I mean, man, we're on literally opposite sides of the world, and so it can be challenging to get connected.
Yeah.
But there are students and young professionals all over that need maybe just a little bit of encouragement,
just a little bit. That's it.
Need a safe place to ask a question, and this is a great opportunity for that.
Sounds like it. Thank you for your contributions to the next generation.
Can I make one more plug?
Yeah, heck yeah, of course.
I also want to plug the AAPG Foundation. Well, two. Can I make two?
Yes.
Here we go. AAPG Foundation Trustee Associates.
Okay.
They are stewards of the AAPG Foundation, and you make a financial donation to kind of join that group, but you help steward and help run the foundation arm of AAPG, which is the charitable arm.
Okay.
So I just want to throw that out there because there are trustee associates, and that's the foundation side, and the giving back side of AAPG is really important. And then within that, within the AAPG Foundation, there's also a scholarship. That's the Military Veterans Scholarship Program. And it gives scholarships to undergraduate military veterans.
Right on.
That application is coming up on May 15th is the deadline for this year.
The deadline to submit?
To submit.
Oh, shoot. We got to get this out.
The twist is it's open to military veterans, but it's also open to their dependents. So the child of a service member or the wife or the husband of a service member is also eligible. So it's actually a very broad program that it's not an insignificant amount of money that can really make a difference in a military member's life.
That's awesome, Heather.
That's my last plug.
All right, right on. Well, the last thing that we can go over is our sponsors. You know Impact Exploration Services?
Yes.
Mud logging, geosteering. They have laboratory services. They can do diamondoids.
Interesting.
Right? You can find out what kind of diamondoids you have in your oil.
Okay.
So, they do it all. It's a Rocky Valve Process, XRF, XRD, a bunch of stuff. They're a great sponsor. Bell Geospace with Gravity. Have you seen their FTG?
I have not.
Man, that gravity data.
Sounds like I need to.
Gravity data is it's really, really wild. Really wild stuff. They're seeing these deep features, because it's good at seeing.
We looked at gravity in Barnett, right?
Man, if you did whatever gravity you looked at versus the gravity that this FTG thing comes out with, wow, it's just such an interesting. I don't know. It has these edge effects to the features that are just seems like you're really looking at the geology.
Real deal.
Yeah. The other one, Trunkline. Trunkline's really cool. Trunkline is it's kind of like the Angie's List for the oil field.
Oh, I like it.
Right?
It's a good analogy.
Angie's List with a twist.
Okay.
Just kidding. But that's kind of a thing. And it's all over the country, mostly United States. And you just go into an area and you say, I'm looking for someone who works on tank batteries. I'm looking for workover crews. Whatever it is, Trunkline has this huge repository of services.
One-stop shop.
Yeah, I mean, it's not everything, but I use it all the time through my operating company. I'm looking for this. And I know you don't do it, but I'm looking for, and they're like, oh yeah, my buddy does it, right? It's a way to plug into that network that's there, find the people that are doing the right work, that are actively working, and you can put your projects online. So you show your before and afters, like what you do. Oh. So it's a really cool website. And then Icon Science. I know you know Icon.
Oh yeah, of course.
Of course you know Icon. Icon speaks for itself. Really cool software company. And the last thing I want to do is to stay positive, right?
Hey.
Everything we do in this life, we got to be positive about it. And you can't have too much positivity in the world. So I'm going to just randomly stop when you tell me to stop, and then we'll see if it speaks to you.
Stop.
Oh, yeah. Got it. Right when you said it, I was right on top of that. We can take our mess and make it our own message. We can transform our tests into our testimony, and our pain can become our purpose to create a better future.
Wow. That's deep.
It is, man. This book is deep. Life is deep. You know what I mean?
There you go.
We get through it. Is that
That's right.
anything ring a bell in there?
That's right.
You like it?
I like it. I like it. I'm actually headed to church this evening, and so there's
Right
a
on.
little
There's a little of that in there.
make your mess your message, and yeah, stay positive and be a good, be an advocate, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of probably what this all goes back to, right?
Right
Be an advocate,
on.
be an advocate for others, be an
Yeah.
advocate for projects, for, people, especially. And sometimes you have to be an advocate for yourself too. I kind of had to learn that the hard way at one point in my career. And
Whoa.
you've got to be able to kind of speak up in a tactful way for yourself, but
Wow.
most certainly for others. So yeah.
Right on. Yeah, that's really speaking to me. Let go, it says. Focus on the things that you have the power to change, and let go of the things that are beyond your control. You'll be amazed that when you stop trying to control everything, it all somehow works out. Surrender is the answer. That's interesting, huh?
I
That
like
last
it.
one.
It's hard to do sometimes, right?
Oh, man. Feels like it's impossible to do. But I mean, I guess you don't know if that's the right thing or the wrong thing until that time has passed. And then you look back and you're like, man, I should have been holding a little looser
Yeah.
on that, or I should have been holding a little tighter on that. But for me, whether it's thinking about the past or thinking about the future, what you said to me today was be in the moment, pay attention to what's going on, and make sure that you're being an advocate for yourself. You're being an advocate for the people around you, right? That's how we need to be. We need to be present. We need to be thinking. We need to be active listeners, and we need to be passionate about what we're doing, rooting for each other.
Certainly.
Well, I'm certainly rooting for you, Heather Anderson.
Well, thank you. You
Thanks
as well.
Thanks for sharing time with us
Yeah,
today.
thanks for being an advocate and, for coming to events like this and highlighting all the positive things going on.
Right on. Thank you.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers.